Hello, Bookish family. Welcome back to Coffee Over Apples. My name is Steph. This is the culminating video of the year. This is the video that I feel like all year we work towards, which is coming up with the list of our favorite books of the year, the books that we cannot stop screaming about, that we love so much. And I have to say, this list makes no sense. Does it? No, it doesn't. This is the list of books in this video. You're going to question, Steph, what is your essence? What is your taste? And I think there's a thread. I think there's a common theme in all these books. And I will let you know what they are when we're done with this list. Because right off the bat, what order to put them in, that was significantly harder. Can we take a second to appreciate though? Can we just take a second to appreciate my t-shirt? It's an alien t-shirt. An alien is chasing a cat. If this isn't the most me t-shirt that you've ever seen, it's adorable. Without further ado, these are my top 10 books of 2021.
It could change the world.
I'm legal.
Okay, some of these you saw them coming. If you've been following me on my channel, some of these you've known. You've known all year that these were coming. Some of them are going to be such a shock. I didn't even see them coming. Maybe like one of them. Or two. We're going to work our way down from number 10 to number 1. Number 10 being amazing. Number 1 being just, perfection. Number 10 gives me such joy when I think about it, and it puts such a smile on my face. It was an immediate 5-star for me. Prosperous Demon by KJ Parker. I'm so excited! I do not think this book is for everyone. And a couple of the books on this list I do not think are for everyone, but this book was perfect for me. First of all, anything with art appreciation, I'm biased, right? I'm really biased. It's dark, it's funny, it is dark horror comedy with gore and one of my favorite tropes, which is like legions of hell. Think Constantine. If you like Constantine, there's this. It was just, for me, a gem of a horror book. An exorcist who doesn't want to be an exorcist, dealing with witty demons, where he has to exorcise someone, but doesn't like his job. And it's amazing. And I just have to say that this was recommended to me by my friend Max, and it's just, thank you. Book number 2. I listened to on audio earlier this year, and surprisingly, it was actually a challenge. Okay, it was a book that I had to read because my challenge jar for my TBR game told me to read a friend's 1-star book, I think it was. So I read Luster by Raven Leilani, and I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. It was incredible. I love this book so much. But again, I don't think this book is for everybody. This book is so raw, and because it was so raw is why I loved it. And again, the art appreciation gets me every time. But essentially, it's kind of following a main character who is a young black woman. It's set in the present day, and she is just the kind of person who doesn't have a specific calling in life, or rather, it's a story of someone trying to figure out their calling and justification for just living. Okay, this is not going to make any sense, but I feel like the theme in Luster is within the same vein of my year of rest and relaxation, which I did not enjoy as much. I'm explaining this so poorly. I feel like this is the best way that I can explain it. It is a girl who is not treated well, and she's okay with that. She isn't trying to be anything amazing in society. She's not trying to live up to any kind of stereotype. She's not trying to live up to any kind of anyone else's standard of what she should be. There's conversations about what it means to be a young Black woman or a person of color in a blue collar / white collar like office space. She has artistic passion, but what is passion when you're living a life of not really setting goals for yourself? It was so good. And it takes place in a town in New Jersey that I am very familiar with that is full of white privilege. And it calls it all out. And it was true. So, I mean, I'm a little bit biased from being from New Jersey and being familiar with that town and the art discussion that's here, but it's strange a bit. The choices that are made are very strange. It's very raw. It's very sexual, but it uses sexual commentary to talk about classism. I barely talked about this book on my channel, yet it made it to number 9 on this list. It was good. Number 8, I made an entire video for Summer Suns. I really loved Summer Suns, and I got this as an ARC from Tor.com Publishing. This was a highly anticipated book for the year, and it did not disappoint. Summer Suns. It's weird because I feel like the people who I thought would love this book didn't love this book. Like, I saw Books and Lala, Kayla. I was so sure that Kayla was going to love this book, but then she didn't, and I was shocked. That's okay. This is another one that I think maybe for some people more than others. It's a dark academia. It's queer. I will say the main characters in this book drove me up a wall. If you're a plot-driven reader, just put that to the side for a minute. I did, and it was totally worth it. I will leave the link for this 25-minute in-depth review that I did of Summer Suns because it was, oh my god, so good, and I just love them so much, and that are just boys need to be loved, and they were. Just go in for the ride and don't ask logical questions. Number 7 is a recent favorite. Iron Widow. I loved Iron Widow. Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao is a ride. So, I don't have that many sci-fi on this list this year. But to have this rage-filled mecha sci-fi pilots anime-inspired, it was everything. It was everything that I want in YA science fiction and more. I mean, if you haven't heard the entire world screaming about Iron Widow, I get really nervous about reading overhyped books. But this was totally worth all the hype. Book number 6, I listened to it as an audiobook, and it broke my heart into a million little pieces. Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is a book in verse about a boy who lost his brother to gang violence and wants revenge, and he takes the elevator. That's it. That's just I can't tell you anything else. I will give it all away. This book is amazing. It has won so many awards, and rightfully so. This book is important and needs to be read in every high school. I'm telling you right now, I am putting it out. This is the book of the year that I'm putting out into the universe to make a mandatory read in high school. Last year, it was Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. This year, I'm voting for Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is so relevant to what you deal with as a young person in an urban setting, especially where there's gang affiliation, especially where there's gun violence, especially where you have a single parent in the home. Oh my God, this book was amazing. I screamed, I cried, I'm gonna cry right now. Like, it just... Alright, disclaimer for books number 5 to 1. Here's the thing, I read a lot of books this year by the same authors over and over and over again, so it was undoubtedly going to happen that my favorite books of the year are probably by some of those authors. I tried not to include entire series in here, I just tried to include the ones that I loved the most. Book number 5, Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Can you see these luscious tabs? I tabbed the life out of this book and I loved every minute of it. I highly suggest Way of Kings if you've never read a epic fantasy before and you want to dive into a super long series that probably won't finish for another 20 years. Check this one out. But it was amazing. I loved it. I'm currently working on the vlog for the other books. If that will ever finish, I don't know. But this is, again, one of those super hyped books on BookTube. And I get it. I get it. I get it. It deserves that spot. It deserves one of those BookTube darling spots because it was beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm sad that I didn't grow up reading this. Book number 4 is actually the 4th book in a series that I read this year. The Galaxy and the Ground Within. I read this in March, I want to say, for the Interstellar Book Club, the Sci-Fi Book Club. This is the 4th book in the Wayfarer series. The 1st book in the series is Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. This book follows an entire cast of aliens. What I love about Becky Chambers is that every single one of her books has commentary on social issues today, but doesn't say it directly. She puts other characters in situations, aka aliens on other planets, in situations that leave you wondering, does that make sense? Oh wait, we do that now. Does that make sense? Should we be doing that thing? Officially solidified this year that Becky Chambers is one of my all-time favorite authors. Book number 3 is Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I borrowed from the library and I need to haul in a beautiful edition. Hero of Ages is the 3rd book in the Mistborn trilogy, Mistborn Era 1, and it is... wow. Wow. For a high fantasy, this was such a good conclusion. I know that Brandon Sanderson barely ever finishes series. It's one of the only finished books I think he has. And it was incredible. Incredible. One of those books where you're just left staring at your ceiling because you're like, what do I do with myself now? What else in this world could I read that will be that good? Hero of Ages did that for me, and nothing has hit me to that degree since then as far as endings. Book number 2 is The Final Empire, which is book 1 in Mistborn trilogy. This... I'm not including book 2 in this because that entire series, while I love it so much, book 2 was not as good as the other ones. It suffered from middle book syndrome, and that's totally fine. But man, whoa. This was the book that I said, wow, I really enjoy Brandon Sanderson's writing. there's nothing else to say. It's been hyped up so much, I don't need to say anything else about it, other than if you want high fantasy and you haven't read this and you like dark stuff, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pick it up. The number one, the creme de la creme, the book that just blew everything else out of the water earlier this year. I read this in January of 2021, and it stayed at number one the entire year. A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. This is book 2 in the Wayfarer series. If you haven't seen that vlog, I cried my eyes out. I have not cried to that degree over a book in over a year. Now, I'm not saying I haven't cried. I definitely teared up and had some moments where I needed to wipe away tears throughout the year, but ugly cry. Like, I needed a box of tissues, and I needed to call a friend, and I needed a hug. This book broke my heart and put it back together again, because it is wholesome. Wholesome to the maximum is this book. Listen, and here is the thread that is drawn through all of the books that I mentioned in this video. Found family is my favorite trope. I love a good found family trope, and this did it so well. Not only that, but it had me reeling and questioning the ethics of AI emotionally. I will never recover from this, and I would love to do a reread, but I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if I can handle it. Surprisingly, out of the entire Wayfarer series, this is the darkest, in my opinion, of the 4 books, but it's also the most wholesome. You guys, this is the second year in a row, second year that Becky Chambers has made it to a number 1 spot. Now, I hope to read one Becky Chambers book this year, and if that book makes it to number 1 for the 3rd year in a row, that is it for this year's top 10 books of the year. Please let me know if you read any of these, if you plan to read any of these, because if you do plan to read any of them, I need a play-by-play. I need your reactions. And also, if you have a top 10 books of the year list, please drop a link in the description, whether it's on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever it is. I love getting to see other people's favorite books so I can add them to my TBR. I post videos every week. See you later. Bye!
What's it making, Mr. Wonka? Mr. Wonka worked the factory.
In your world.